Like, to get offended over, to get offended is to make a moralistic judgment. And I'm not one of those people that likes moralistic judgments because it's not something that I particularly care about. It's something that I particularly do not care about and don't want to have to care about because it just isn't the wisest thing to do. Now, I really, if someone makes like an Auschwitz joke, that even that won't offend me because I feel like that won't offend me, but it will basically be like, but I would still be like, dude, you shouldn't be joking about that on in public, let alone social media. Like if I'm in a Discord a session and someone cracks an Auschwitz joke, that would kind of be very not cool. It's it's like saying that Chris Pine looked like a derogatory term for a homosexual. I've known people like that, and that was said said in private. That one was said in private, which is kind of different in a way. Yeah, still I wouldn't want to hear it, but yeah, I can let it slide there. I can let it slide there because it's in private. Yeah, Chris Pine from Star Trek, from the Star Trek 2009. Like he was also in Princess Diary 2, which he looks like a Ken doll. I mean, Ken doll would be a far better term for us than a derogatory term for homosexual because that just yeah, I can't really see that, but I can see the Ken doll comparison. Yeah, things like that in 9/11 jokes, as uncool as they are, they're not worth getting offended. Nothing is worth getting offended over. Because when you get offended, you're making a moralistic judgment about people. And if you're a Christian, that is especially something that Christ said not to do. Judge not, lest ye be judged. For with the same standard that you judge others, you will also be judged with. So expect people to basically do the same thing to you when you do that to other people. That's one of the reasons why I don't like cancel culture, because cancel culture is going to blow up in the faces of these people who engaged in it, and people are going to find out how they judge these people, and they're going to be judged the same way. Well, you said this and you said that. What about this? What about that? Well, you will never have friends. You will lose everything in the end. Because that's how cancel culture works. It works according to the principle of hatred. Love and be loved, kill and be killed, hate and be hated. If you're a Christian, you know the sayings of Christ. You know some of the things the Christ said. Jesus said, love and be loved, hate and be hated, kill and be killed. The point of that is not to say you shouldn't kill people, but understand that for every action there is a reaction, and hatred is the opposite of love, and love is the opposite of hatred. You see, this is where I talk about the principle of polarity in Hermetic philosophy. Something that I have talked about quite a bit on this channel, and something that I feel that people really need to become aware of, is because this principle is a guiding principle in our actions, and how we act and react is the difference between losing things that we care about and losing things that we shouldn't have been caring about in the first place. And I've done enough in my life to have lost the things that I cared about because of my foolish actions. Because of how I reacted in a situation, And I wish that I could go. Actually, I don't even wish I could go back and correct that, because that is what made me who I am. Regret changes nothing. Doesn't change the reality of your actions. Doesn't change the fact that you screwed up. What changes that is recognizing that. And I'm one of those people who wishes to give people a chance to prove that they have done that. That's why I don't judge a man for his actions from like 6 years ago, or in other words, become offended over something that happened like 6 years ago. You know, even adults 6 years 6 years after having done or said that thing, may regret that. You know, especially with I don't feel it's worth throwing someone's shit in their face. I most certainly wouldn't do that to some of the people that I have known, even if they've blocked me for no reason other than I screwed up in the group. And they might have a reason for doing that. They might have a reason for blocking me that I didn't consider, and I paid the price for my avidia, i.e. ignorance. You know, what you don't know is going to create your delusions. And that's something that I didn't really think about until now. And this is just one of those things that I want people to care about. Is I want people to care about the reality of their actions and the effect that they have on the wider world and on themselves. After all, you don't want to cause unnecessary suffering, because it does not just harm others, it also harms you even worse than it does other people. Unnecessary suffering is the result of polarization.